Okay, everybody must know this. Everybody must know what the solar year is or what the year is about. You see, the year now in the Gregorian calendar is measured from equinox to the same starting point. The starting point is measured as the last day, not the day of the next year. So, thus, this is where you have the time that doesn't equal up to exactly what it should be, and then you get once every 4 years putting an extra day on because people cannot calculate properly by the year, or couldn't back then. These poperies, these popes are still ruling the earth by their mistakes back in those days. These Pope Gregory. Now, I don't go by that calendar, but everybody else does, and I got to wake up every single day, and I got to see that everybody's saying, "Oh, it's Monday, it's Tuesday, or it's the weekend, it's February." It's not Monday, it's not Tuesday, it's not the weekend, it's not February. Okay, it's now. I'll tell you what day it is now. It's the. Hang on. It's the 13th degree of February, all right, that means the sun is at the 13th degree, 13 degrees through February, which is 343 degrees in the whole, in the year. So there's 17 degrees left to go to the equinox, which is when the exact year is. It is, no, it's about the fourth moon, so it's the second week. That's the second week of this current moon phase. So you got four quarterly moon phases. The moon phases in four quarterly intervals. So it's the second interval now. It's the second week of this current moon phase, which is meant to mean month. Month is meant to mean moon phase calendar, but it's not. Doesn't go by the months. And people that go by a lunar calendar, there's no such thing as a lunar calendar. Okay, the moon represents the months, right, and the year represents the seasons. The seasons have to do with the sun, right, and the week has to do with the moon. The moon hasn't got anything to do with the year. Okay, the moon has to do with the week. Okay, it's another thing altogether. The sun and the seasons are what have to do with the year. Okay, so don't get them twisted. Okay, understand now, people out here that have put these calendars out there, and it's not only the Gregorian calendar, it's all the rest of the calendars too. They're all incorrect. Okay, they're all incorrect. That's another reason why history is a blur, is a mystery. Nobody knows really what's going on. And what else? Yeah, it's about the 70th day through summer in the southern hemisphere. So there's about 20 days of summer to go, around about 18 or 20 days of summer to go. So yeah, so you do your homework. The sun is of the year, is of the seasons, which is the year, which makes the year. The moon is of the weeks, which makes the month. Okay, and they're separate. They're not of the same area. Okay, and you got your stars are of the degrees, which, well, maybe the stars should be of the year, but the stars are of the sun too, and you got your moon phases, you got your moon signs, but that still does not occur in respect to the year. Okay, the months are separate to the year; they're not the same. Okay, so yeah, figure it out, and the more people know this, the more closer everybody gets to being on the same calendar together, and knowing what namely where they are in respect to the stars. So face it, you weren't taught about the stars at school. Nobody was taught about where the sun is in respect to the stars at school, and it's very annoying. Yeah, it is very annoying. It's rude. Yeah, because people went their whole entire lives without knowing this. Like my grandpa, my grandparents passed away. Supposedly on my dad's side, he was very, very particular about the star. He knew a lot about the stars. I only met him once. Because dad, well, R.I.P. rest in peace. Dad now, he was a smoker and a gambler, and he really just didn't care about anybody. All right, so yeah, I'm putting this all together. Everybody's got to know about the right calendar. Okay, so they know where they are, where they're going, where north is, where south is properly, where um, where ecliptic north is. Okay, because the everyone says, oh, the Earth's on a tilt, blah blah blah. The Earth isn't on a tilt. Okay, there is a 23 degrees to where the ecliptic north is in respect to where true north is of the Earth north. It's not a tilt. That's how it seems as if it's on a tilt, because the equator is not on the same level as the ecliptic plane. The equator's like east and west level to the Earth, but because the seasons of the sun, they're read of where the sun's going on the equinox. Everybody says, "Oh, the Earth's on a tilt." That makes it seem as if the Earth is tilted in the only seasons because the Earth is tilted. No, the Earth is not tilted. Okay, it's 23 degrees to where the sun is, which has to do with the seasons and the stars and the equinox and the solstices. And that's why that's that stupid lie these schools on whenever it began, and people begin saying that, oh, the Earth's on a tilt, and by saying that, they didn't explain the stars, they didn't explain the sun, they didn't explain what actually was happening there. Okay, the 23 degrees are what they say is a tilt. It's 23 degrees to the ecliptic plane where the sun is, where that's read in respect to the seasons, the solstices, and the equinoxes. And then you got the stars there by the year, and there's that shifting there, which shifts on that 23 degrees. All in all, about 25,000, 26,000 shifts, 1 degree every 72 years or something. And that's the whole time frame of the thing on the scale. So there's a big time frame and everything. So yeah, so again, the year now is it's it's the 13th degree of February, and it's the 340th degree of the year in respect to February. So it's another 20 degrees to the equinox, to when there's actually a new year in the northern hemisphere. It's spring. It's always red at the equinox. In Australia, it's the autumn equinox in the southern hemisphere here. So yeah, so again, I just had to put this video out just to get the point across, and yeah, check out the calendar. All the calendars are incorrect. I put something on the Chinese astrological year being not correct. It's out of days, so go study that. It's not the only one that's incorrect as of now. They're all incorrect. Okay, there's no such thing as a lunar year. Okay, the year has to do with the sun and the seasons. It doesn't have to do with the moon. The moon is of the weeks. That's why it's in four quarterly. That's why it's broken up into four quarters. You got 7 quarters for each quarter. Thus, a week for each quarter. There is no week end. There is no end to a week. Okay, fathership is a daily responsibility. Okay, and that fathership is the jobs or the duties that are meant to be overseen to, oversought in respect to the earth. Okay, and when people quit that, they quit working, because that is what actually work is. When people quit that, that's when all these disasters begin to happen. That's when they began stupid, being drunk and on drugs, and they came up with this knowledge, this wrong, incorrect, false calendar, this nonsense, this nonsense, incorrect calendar. That's why they came up with that, and they began mistranslating words that have that have been passed down throughout the years, such as this one is behaviour. They're mistranslating behaviour, saying, "Oh, these people's behaviour, this and that." No, these people's misbehaviour. This misbehaviour is unacceptable. It's not behaviour; it's misbehaviour. These bad people out there. So there's not people aren't judging these days. They're misjudging. They're misjudging everything. You see, there's a whole a whole lot of things going on right now that has to come to it. Has to stop now for the truth to be. All right. So think about the calendars in regards to the calendars and where you are. Okay, study it. You can ask AI. You can just listen to what I'm saying and just, my God, I don't know. Wait till I put it out. I'll show you a picture of them. Okay, I'll show you what I've put now. Uh, I've put I put the dates on the stars degrees. So now it's Aquarius in the proper International Astronomical Union, where the constellations have been found out properly in respect to satellites, rather than some imbecile back in the day trying to put a history on something that left everybody with nothing. Okay, saying, "Oh, there's a billion people in 10 years. There's another billion people in 10 years, and 100 years ago there's only a million people, and all the world's going to end in it." No, okay, it's ridiculous. Okay, people got it. And so this is a bit of an example of what I'm doing for a proper year. So here you got here. So can you see that? You see all the dates of Aquarius. There's the moon phase and all the times to the moon. You write it down each phase, and there's the for the seasons. For the season. So now it's around about here. So there's about 20 days to go. So yeah. So, you know, start looking things up properly, and don't get lost for this weekend. Don't believe people that say, there's a weekend and now it's Friday, it's Monday. Look up where those names come from. Okay? Not everybody's Catholic anyway, and those who are Catholic, I suggest they really begin to think about what this popery is, or what this Vatican is, and all the mistakes they've left in the past, and speak about fixing those mistakes, and think about how they're going to be fixed with or without that place. If it's going to be with it. Now, I really wanted to, if the mistakes went through there, well, they got to be fixed through there. One would say, one would think, and I had the goal to fix it through there. But them popes have got to accept that they have spouses on this earth. That there's calculations that they've got to know that they've got to meet one day, or any one of those people in those clergy. They've got to know that someday it's got to end. All this, saying that it's holy to not have a marriage, and these priests, this priestlyhood and monkhood and popery, it's got to end for everybody to be with their spouses. Now, I'm saying I've come up with the calculations for you and everybody to know who their spouses are. And those calculations are thus as follows in regards to everybody's spouse having the same amount of siblings as them, but of the other sex. So if one has guys, four brothers, the other one has the sisters to match, and it's the same age group. It's the same age in between for everybody. Now, in saying that, I believe that at least it's only fair if there's a database to see if it is true, and just to see if it is true, and guaranteed it's true. Everybody one day has got to be on the database to see at least if that's true. Through knowledge, of course it's true. How can it not be true? Everybody has to have it's humanity. That's what people are. There's order about things to go about things. Now, if you say, oh, it's not true, that's nonsense, that's blah, 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 well, I at least know or think that it deserves a shot. It deserves a shot. It deserves to be there for people to have the choice to see if it is true and if it isn't. Guaranteed everybody matches up. Everybody matches up. Then everybody can be together. But that's another story in respect to, the seasons, all the seasons and the proper calendar. The proper calendar has to go with that. But don't you think that if what I'm saying is obviously true, that people should go for it anyway? Why not have some gratitude and go with it anyway? Why not? If they believe in one thing but don't believe in the other thing, well, why not go for the one which they believe in, rather than being ungrateful and only going for everything because I say one thing is true because they like that more, when the other things are as obvious as it. So come on, things need to be get together. And again, this whole priestlyhood, popery, monklyhood, it's got to come to an end. Everybody has to be with their spouses, and that's the database, all right? That's got to be the database one day. So, the proper calendar, where the sun is, where the stars are, everybody with their spouses. I've got everything else in respect to. See that picture back there? The green area is the good area. That's where the bad goes, and the scar, the wound that heals, leaves the red circle, which is the scar left over from the bad. And now it is in a transition phase to that, and that's where these answers are coming, which I'm bringing. Okay, so I figured just to make a short little video about that, so to get everybody thinking about the calendar. Okay, taking care, and I'll see you next time.